Woo! What's going on, guys? Ohms Forum coming at you guys today with our video, and it's a late one, but we're gonna do Lions training camp day 5 for the 2024 season. Time to put the pads on. LFG, let's friggin' go! Thanks to guys like John Macaron, Eric Schlitt, Jeremy Reisman, Tim Twentyman, Ben Raven, those guys, Jeff Risden putting out all that info, and it's a lot of info that was put out today. Those guys did their work today for day 5, pads up, and I'm all over the place with this. So if I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna try to run through this because it's a lot, man. Defense really kind of stole the show a little bit today. Offense did play okay, but defense it was a defensive day. This is where the men kind of get separated from the boys because. Putting on the pads too, so we like that. In and out. Brian Branch, he's back, but he's slowly getting back to full duties, doing walkthroughs, but no contact drills, and no pads for him as well too. So obviously, DJ Reader's still out on that PUP list. Might not be ready for week 1 too. That kind of came out a little bit today. Nothing in stone, but he doesn't seem to think he's going to be ready. And then guys like, Marcus Davenport, Jahmyr Gibbs, full practice again today. So it looks like they're kind of back in the swing of things as well. And then Christian Mahogany, I believe, is still out as well with that illness. So, still on the NFI list. Let's open it up with some open field tackling drills, one-on-ones. Did a lot of one-on-ones today, and then we'll kind of get into that as well. Wide receiver, JMO, stiff-armed. Rookie cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr. It looks like Enos Rakestraw Jr. is getting a lot of 13 reps right now as well too. Laporta juked out Anzalone. That's 2 days in a row. David Montgomery stiff-armed. Linebacker Jack Campbell. Malcolm Rodriguez. There's some people out there asking about some Malcolm Rodriguez news. Haven't heard a lot about Malcolm, but a little bit today. He put a big hit on running back Sione Vaikai, the rookie out of Utah, kind of picked him up by the, he picked him up by the legs and kind of drove him into the ground, dropped him, because Vaikai got him earlier on in a drill. Then UDFA rookie Maurice Norris, kind of a cornerback / safety. He popped out the ball. That running back Jake Funk was carrying. Jake Funk's got a, he's got a really tough time making his team. He probably won't, but he needs to hold on to the ball there. And then Shane Zylstra, he put a nice little spin move on Jalen Reeves-Maven that got everybody kind of fired up because, this is kind of Jalen Reeves-Maven kind of bread and butter, these special team one-on-one open field tackling drills. So Zylstra put a really nice move on him and got away from JRM. Then more one-on-ones, man. They did some wide receivers versus DBs, O-line versus the D-line. A defensive tackle, Levi O, who's having a pretty solid camp so far, and undrafted free agent center Kingsley Eguakon from the Florida Gators. They were getting a little chippy out there, pushing and shoving, but nothing too serious. But Levi's not backing down, and neither was the rookie Kingsley. Terrion Arnold, who's had a pretty good camp so far. He's been a little up and down too as well, but he had a decent day today with a pass breakup on wide receiver Traquan Smith. Emmanuel Mosley had some good coverage on JMO. That's big time. That's what we like to see there. And UDFA wide receiver Isaiah Williams did beat cornerback Enos Rakestraw on the inside on a nice move. St. Brown beat Carlton Davis. And Carlton Davis actually had a nice practice today too, though. Other than that, right there. And then Khalif Raymond beat Amik Robertson too. So back and forth a little bit right there. Then there was some focus on the run game. First team defense was out there. They had Aiden Hutchinson, Levi Onwuzurike kind of at the defensive ends, Broderick Martin and Aleem McNeil on the inside, and Barnes and the Sam. Goff with a series of handoffs. He did fumble one. I think it was the first exchange between him and the center. But, it was, they're working on that run game. And then it's a little bit easier to gauge now. You're going to start hearing more and more about run defenses and run offenses now when they got the pads on. It's very hard to run with no pads. You can't really tell what's going on, but now they got the pads, and now you're going to see guys going head to head. Second team defense, cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr. did get a little bit of looks there. The rookie, and then defensive end Joshua Pascal, and then defensive tackle Mackay Wingo out of LSU was in there too in that second team defense, most notably. So, and then another end around to JMO, fooled the defense. JMO, bye bye. We've seen this from JMO. You get one step behind JMO, it's tough for you to catch that kid, and he looked good on that end around. Fooled the whole defense apparently. Now getting some more passing. Goff intended a pass for wide receiver Darius Fountain. Big hit by Kirby Joseph. Fountain had a little bit of a rougher day today. After he got shook up a little bit by Kirby Joseph, he had a drop pass. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then another pass completed to Gibbs. It was stuffed. And then a completion to tight end Brock Wright. Hooker, who was playing with the second team today. Hooker was kind of up and down too as well. Didn't have a bad day. It looked like Sudfeld was a little bit apparently more under control with the third team. Maybe had a sharper day. But they're still trying to go back and forth, trying to figure out this QB2 spot. So Hooker was with the second team. He airmailed a pass to wide receiver Antoine Green with Meek Robertson in coverage. Then a handoff to running back Zonovan Knight. And then another pass flipped to Knight with Pascal kind of barreling in on Hooker. And that's all that really happened in that phase. Then Sudfeld came on with the third team. Looked a little bit sharper than Hooker, like I kind of talked about. He had a really nice ball to wide receiver Traquan Smith, completion. They scrambled away from pressure on a few plays later. Then Goff came back in. Pair of completions to Amon-Ra St. Brown. The connection is obviously still there. Hasn't gone away in 4 years. And then there was another incompletion broken up by the rookie Terrion Arnold, both to JMO. Arnold actually, and he was making some plays today, so you really like to hear and see that as well. Then Hooker came back in with 4 completions. One was a really low ball, hauled in by tight end Shane Zylstra. The other 3 wasn't really reported. And then Sudfeld went 3 for 4 on this one. 1 to wide receiver Isaiah Williams, the UDFA out of Syracuse, and then 1 to running back Jake Funk. The offense was a little bit inconsistent though. First team, Gibbs, had some footing issue on a route, incomplete, and then Darius Fountain, he had a drop. So, it wasn't the greatest day for Fountain. It's going to happen. You're not going to have every single day is going to be good. Sometimes you're going to be a little bit off, but he was a little bit off today, Darius Fountain. And then the D line, winning on the line of scrimmage. That's what you like to hear and see too. This defense has been playing a lot better than years past early in camp. 97 with a really strong rush. Davenport with a huge run stuff on Gibbs. You got Alim McNeil out here too, calling Marcus Davenport the silent killer. Just saying that he's a guy that that is out here working hard, and you can just tell by the way he plays that he's a really good ball player, and he's going to really add a lot to this team if he can stay healthy. So it's good hearing Alim McNeil talk some good stuff about Davenport. And then Hooker came back in, hit a tip ball by John Kaminsky. Robertson almost had a pick. It was almost kind of the first pick for team drills. They did have a pick. I think it was on 7-on-7s, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But they haven't had a pick, the defense in team drills. Just some like 7-on-7s or something like that. That's basically all. Then the completed pass to Zylstra over the middle. Zylstra's playing really well too, man. I'm hearing a lot of Shane Zylstra going on right now. He's fighting for that third spot. I'm hearing nothing about James Mitchell. Not hearing a thing about James Mitchell whatsoever. Barely anything. It's all Zylstra. So we'll see what happens with that tight end 3 spot, because 1 and 2 are locked up with Laporta and Wright. And then another pass to Donovan Peoples-Jones, completion, then a scramble to the left from Hendon Hooker. Then Sudfeld back in again, like the second or third phase of this. Screen pass to Vaikai, the rookie. A completion to Isaiah Williams. Then a handoff to running back Jamar Jefferson, who I completely forgot was on this football team. And then a completion to wide receiver Jalen Calhoun. And really good pass protection by the rookie offensive lineman Giovanni Manu, who's still 3rd, 4th string, and he's still a developmental player. So we need him to develop. There's no real rush on him. So don't think that Giovanni Manu is going to be really playing anytime soon. You'll be seeing him in preseason a ton, though. And then Derek Barnes, man, he's setting a tone on this defense. His physicality is totally on display. It's not ignored at all whatsoever. He's not backing down from anyone. First team Sam, he's on the first team Sam linebacker. He's a similar role to what he kind of did at Purdue as a Boilermaker. Now, if you remember if you're new to my channel, or if you're old to my channel, I remember when I did my take on Barnes. He was a guy that was, a defensive lineman. He was a defensive lineman at Purdue for a couple years, then kind of moved to linebacker. Couldn't really develop as a linebacker. He was drafted pretty much as a linebacker by Brad Holmes and company. And I always said he was going to be a guy that's going to take a little bit of time to develop. Now he's kind of doing that same similar role right now that he was doing at Purdue, standing up a little bit, putting his hand in the dirt, but playing that Sam linebacker role. He was getting comfortable, and he looked pretty decent in coverage as well too. But he's not really a cover guy. And then Campbell taking notice of Barnes as well too, man. He loves where he's at. He loves his attitude, and that's what you want to hear. The quick hitters. There's a lot of these quick hitters, guys. There's a ton of them. Sheila Hampton was in attendance, former Lions great and radio color commentator, Lomas Brown and Detroit Red Wings legend, the GM. Steve Eiserman in the house too. I think Chris Draper, the assistant GM, was there with Stevie Y as well. Hutch was getting the crowd going. Yeah, he shoved St. Brown at 1.2 during drills. Nothing serious, but just kind of going after each other. The situational period, they had first team offense, 45 seconds, own 39-yard line. Goff with 2 big completions to Amon-Ra St. Brown. They didn't do any kicking at all today. We'll talk about that too in a little bit if we even get to it. But you can just tell, like I said earlier, man, the chemistry between Goff and St. Brown is it's uncanny. It's just amazing on how Amon-Ra St. Brown gets open every single time. Then still no interceptions, like I talked about for the defense. Robertson almost had one, like I said, on a Kaminsky tip, and he's telling everyone he's going to get the first INT during actual team drills. So we'll see what happens there. And then some more pass rush drills. Frank Ragnow did win both reps versus Broderick Martin and Chris Smith, the defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, who's been with the club for a couple years now. Hutch versus Sewell. Now, Hutch, this is the best versus the best on the team right here. These are the matchups that we all salivate over, that we all want to see. Apparently Hutch and Sewell both had a win each. Hutch won on an outside move, and then Sewell won by standing up Hutch. Tried to go in on the inside. He planted him, stood him up. End of story. Now there's another report coming from, I believe it was Tim Twentyman. He thinks that Sewell won both these matchups, and that's okay. He thinks on the outside move that a lot of people think Hutch won. He thought he pushed him out of the pocket enough, but some guys had different opinions. So that's the best versus the best. Iron sharpens iron. That's what we want to see. They're just going to make each other better. And then Sorsdal beating up on Josh Pascal and underdrafted free agent defensive end Nate Lynn. Sorsdal, majority at offensive tackle still, mainly at right tackle, a little bit of left tackle as well too. But they're not even thinking about him at guard right now. So Sorsdal playing extremely well. Defensive end, outside linebacker Marcus Davenport had a really nice bull rush on left tackle Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker getting paid today as well. We need Marcus Davenport healthy. We need both these guys healthy. So that was a nice win for Davenport there as well. And then rookie defensive tackle Mekhi Wingo won both his reps as well versus Kevin Zeitler and Ike Bacher, the guy that we brought in who's a free agent, played mostly with the Buffalo Bills. So they're saying that Wingo out there, and if you ever watched his tape, he's got a really first nice step, and it's true. He really does. And Kevin Zeitler, he lost. He kind of got taken back a little bit today, man. I don't think he was really ready for this offense, for this defensive line. He didn't have the greatest day. He had a couple losses. Not saying he's horrific or anything, but he needs to get better. And I think he was a little bit taken back by some of these guys. Especially obviously Wingo, and I think he lost another one versus Aleem McNeil. But Aleem McNeil, man, is going to have a big year. Then Carlton Davis, like I said, Carlton Davis had a pretty good day today. Probably one of his better days at camp. He had a really tight coverage on Sam Laporta, but Laporta caught the ball. They got to the ball at the same time, banged into each other. Laporta came up with it. He made the really tough catch. It was really good defense. And then Davis running with J-Mo stride for stride, like I talked about a little bit earlier. Impressive, and deflected the ball away. Great practice by Carlton Davis, the free agent that we brought out of Tampa. And then Amik Robertson, James Houston with the second team, Mosley and Betts with the third team. Back and forth, guys, like I've been talking about. I think Amik Robertson and Houston were on the third yesterday, and then Mosley and Betts were on the second. So they're flip-flopping that. They're trying to find, a unit, and they're trying to separate. They want somebody to latch on to one of these spots and separate themselves. And then Mosley and Robertson also was seeing some outside work as well, which is good. Mosley is more of an outside corner anyways. Robertson, I think, was better in Vegas on the outside. I've talked about that too, but he can play inside as well too. Especially on the run defense, that they were playing more outside work. So take that with a grain of salt. Then Maurice Norris, the kind of cornerback safety, and Brandon Joseph were playing with some second team too. So a little bit of promotion there. It's not in stone, but it's good to see some UDFA guys get some work. And Brandon Joseph was a guy that I kind of picked to keep an eye on too. But he's in deep too, man. He's a guy that's really going to have to stand out as well. And then Pascal, a little bit of a demotion. It's probably not full time, but I've been noticing some change in this with Davenport, and especially Davenport healthy, Levi Onwuzurike healthy. They're getting more reps. Pascal, it looks like he's not the forgotten man, but he's just, he's not getting the reps that he probably wants. So he's going to have to, he's trailing these guys apparently at the moment. Then Graham Glasgow and Levi Onwuzurike, two real good reps versus each other. There was no real winner, kind of a stalemate. Then again, like I talked about with Zeitler kind of caught off guard by McNeil's power, kind of shoved him to the side, picked him up almost, and just kind of moved him. I think Zeitler was a little bit caught off guard by that. And then Schlitt reporting that Sewell, that's what I said earlier, it was Eric Schlitt, reported that Sewell won both those reps versus Hutch. He thinks that he won though, like that one especially. So, who knows, man? Like I said, iron sharpens iron. Then Mitchell Agude, another outside linebacker, kind of defensive end guy that I really like, beat Dan Skipper on one rep. Skipper handled just James Houston the next play though. He tried to overpower Skipper. I don't know why he would try to overpower a 6'10", 320 pound man. I'm not sure why he would try to do that when one of his trademark moves is to really dip low. He tried to overpower him. Skipper kind of handled him, and just kind of tossed him around. And that's going to happen, man. Houston lost that battle. Then Natane Mutai, I guess this is a guy that's kind of been, he's another offensive guard. He's a guy that's got some good power, some good anchor, some good shoulders. He's strong. They're kind of calling him. I saw one article. I think it might have been Risden. I'm not 100% calling him kind of like the sleeper guy that's going on right now. That's been playing really well. He beat newcomer David Bada, defensive tackle, who looks like he's got some skill, but he's going to have a tough time making his team. And then he stalled up Aleem McNeil on a power rush. Now, Aleem McNeil is a strong human being, probably the strongest guy on the team. From what I can remember from last year or 2 years ago, I remember Dan Campbell talking about how strong Aleem McNeil was. Probably the strongest, at least the strongest offensive and defensive line. He's a defensive lineman, but just one of the strongest guys on the team. And Mutai just stalemated him. Boom. Stuck him. Bam. And just held him up there. And McNeil was kind of helpless. Couldn't get off the block. Couldn't shed it. Couldn't bull rush. Impressive by Mutai. A guy it's gonna take a lot for him to make this team. It's going to take a lot for him to make this team, but it's a really good sign right there. And then Michael Neese, the backup center, he lost both of his reps to nose tackles Kyle Pico and Broderick Martin. And then Levi Onwuzurike, he was having a good camp. Like I said, he did beat Coyote Owasika, but then Owasika did beat John Kaminsky. So a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of good stuff going on. Third team O-line, One thing that came up with this third team O-line, I saw this from a couple different outlets. The rookies, they really need to add more power to their bodies, their upper bodies and their lower bodies. They're not as strong as they should be at this point. Brian Hudson did have a really nice rep versus Bada though, and he did beat him. Maurice Norris beating tight end McCann, tight end Sean McCann from Michigan, the Michigan Wolverine, with a nice ankle tackle. That's a big boy, McCann, and he made a nice play on there. Like I said, no interception during the team drills, but Stephen Gilmore did have a pick on one-on-one on 7-on-7s. See, so he's stacking days. I don't know. It's Stephen Gilmore out there, so my guess it was either Hooker or Sudfeld. It wasn't Goff. Gilmore's kind of been bouncing around from second team to third team, so I can't tell you if it was Sudfeld or if it was Hooker. But he did have a pick, but it's not a team. It wasn't a team drill, so apparently it doesn't count. But it still counts as a pick for Stephen Gilmore, so I'll tell you that much. Then tackles for loss were made by Aiden Hutchinson, Joshua Pascal, Jack Campbell, and newcomer linebacker Malik Jefferson, the guy that they just picked up. Linebacker more Malcolm Rodriguez news. He did have a sack on the day as well, and a really nicely well-timed blitz. He rushed that B gap and got in there, got the blitz. Then UDFA, Lauren Strickland, the safety, he had a little bit of a rough day, missed like 3 tackles on the day. Not a good look for a UDFA, man. These are guys that are literally on the bubble for every play. For every play, man. You start missing tackles, you're going to get cut real quick. And he made a really nice play on one of the plays, apparently got into the backfield, but just whiffed on whoever was carrying the football. I don't think they even said who it was, but three missed tackles in a day. You're gonna get yourself cut. You're just gonna get yourself cut like that, man. And good luck to that kid. Then lots of 2 tight end sets were being played as well early in practice, obviously with Laporta and Wright. So we're gonna see some different wrinkles this year in this offense. I'm excited for it. And then safety CJ Moore, which is really interesting right here. We brought him back. You guys know the CJ Moore story. Great special teams player, depth at safety. He made that stupid decision to bet on football games last year. Last year was literally banned from the NFL for a year, and he's only playing special teams right now. Now, like at the moment, no defensive reps whatsoever. So, there's a couple beat writers out there trying to kind of ponder it, trying to wonder what it is. Are they trying to see younger guys? Is this a demotion? Is CJ Moore really on the bubble? What's really going on here? Some guys suggest that it's just maybe just Campbell and Glenn, and they just want to see the younger crew. They just want to see the younger guys going out there because they already kind of know what they have in CJ Moore. So kind of stay tuned for that. It's a little bit interesting. CJ Moore, he's a great special teamers. He's a great special team player. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then we're going to end it off with this guy. No kicking today. I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Every other day, apparently, they're going to try to do this. They're not going to. They only have Jake Bates literally on. I think this has to do with Jake Bates literally being the only kicker on the roster right now. Like I said, they've brought in 3-4 guys. They brought in that Andre Schmidt kid, from the St. Louis Battlehawks, whatever it was at UFL. They didn't sign him yet. They brought in a couple former NFL guys, one being Matt Amendola, but no one's been signed. It's just been Jake Bates. So they're not kicking every day with him. They're not gonna wear the kid out. So every other day right now, maybe until they get a couple guys on the roster, and then they can start kicking every day. But as of right now, that's it. And that's it for the video, guys. Thank you. Hopefully I got that out in time, man. I know it's a late one, past midnight, actually, but sometimes I can only do it at midnight, man. Sometimes I can only do it. So, hey, I appreciate you guys coming in. Late one. Hopefully you guys catch it in the morning, or if you're up, watch it. But I appreciate it, guys, for coming in, watching the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right, that little YouTube sign. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Give it a bing bang. And like, comment, share this out. Appreciate it, guys. Go Lions. Detroit versus everybody. One pride. Boom. Let's go, baby. Lions.